Good morning, everyone. What is up? It is bright and early, 3 o'clock in the morning over here in Germany. Let me know where you are watching and listening from in the world because it is deadline live stream time for F1 Fantasy, and I am ready to go. I got the little comment thing figured out over here on YouTube, so that should work. I am streaming live on YouTube. I should be live on X as well. And I have finally made some changes to a couple of my F1 fantasy lineups. So, yeah, Jack says, morning Jack, evening Jack, afternoon Jack, wherever you are watching from. Oh, 10 a.m. from Malaysia for FPL YOLO. That's a pretty nice time. I would appreciate that time right now, but that's okay. That's okay. You deserve it because I know it's not easy most of the season. But Jack says, Williams news. I know, my man. I am just waiting for this news to drop before I activate anything on my T1 team. So I'm checking if anyone else sees anything on X, something official from the FIA, drop it in the chat. And yeah, that's where we're at. Ivan is 8 p.m. from Mexico. Jack says 2 a.m. in the UK. Yes, pretty rough for you. Bitman says morning to you. Morning, everyone. Morning, everyone. It's iced coffee time, so yeah, because it was too early to get the coffee machine going and make it super loud. Also from Germany. Do I speak German? Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch, aber my accent is awful. So anytime I try to speak German to someone, they're like, this English speaking, just please stop butchering our language. So I decide to stay away from that. Well, I mean, I try, but yeah, it doesn't always go that well for me. Henry says thoughts on Doohan Hadjar Merck to Hulk Albon Williams. I love it. I like that, Henry. Not bad at all. Henry, I currently have Piastri, Ocon, Doohan, Hadjar, Bortoleto, Ferrari. Yeah, I think that's good, Henry. You're good. You're good to go there. So don't worry too much about that. Let's see here. Gotta build your thoughts. Lewis, Antonelli, Behrman, Hulkenberg, Ocon, McLaren, and Sauber. Whew. Sauber, you say? Well, if we go over to the F1 Fantasy Tools budget builder here, let's just check this out. Sauber, 68% chance of rising, so I don't hate that. If you're going after some points and balance budget, I mean, that gets you a lot of risers. That should be 7 out of 7 risers there. And I've been trying to tout this quite a little bit. Play the game your way. So, Oliver, go for it. I don't hate it. It's unconventional. It's not, yeah, it's unconventional. I don't think it's something you'll see on X all over the place, but I don't mind it at all. Bitman says, waiting on cold in San Francisco. So San Francisco is 7 p.m. your time? Because you guys are usually 9 hours behind us, but you guys have sprung forward already, and we don't do that over here until next weekend. So 2 a.m. in the UK, Henry. Yep, hopefully you've got a beverage of choice sitting by you there. Hulk apparently starts in the pit lane. Yes, Colin, that is, I just noticed. Is that a little German player you got there as your little icon? That's nice. And then Williams are starting. Yep. Yeah, I kind of always thought Williams would be starting, Jack. I just don't know where they're starting from. So Leapsfrog, the reigning 2024 champion, has activated his wildcard. Let's see if I can. I'm not going to try and mess this up too badly. Let's hope it all sticks together. Here we go. I think that worked. Okay. Wildcard activated in F1 Fantasy, going to approach F1 Fantasy a bit differently now by treating the DRS driver as my winner prediction and use the rest of the team to build budget. Eventually, I hope I can become more flexible in later races with my team. So, the world number one, or the reigning world number one, is going with Lando Norris, Nico Hülkenberg, Esteban Ocon, Ollie Behrman, and Lance Stroll with McLaren and Aston Martin. Brandon says, is Piastri better than Ant? Better points versus 0.3 loss budget? Great question, Brandon. And for me, I think right now budget is more important than points, personally, because especially with Antonelli, because he is only going to be able to rise at this rate for the next couple of races. Like if he rises 0.6 this week, he's at 19.6. If he rises again in Japan, he's going to be 20.2 and he's going to be an A-tier asset. And then it's like, okay, well then I would rather go up to Piastri, who's only going to be max 3 million, 3.1 million more than Antonelli in a couple of races. So I would try to get on Antonelli right now and then just get back on Piastri for Bahrain. Bitman says, if I use Wildcard, I will have 3 transfers in Japan, correct? No, I'm pretty sure you'll just have 2 free transfers, Bitman, and then you'll have to roll 1 in Japan to get to 3 for Bahrain. So I'm pretty sure that's how it is. No beverage, just trying to stay awake. 9 and 13, it says on X. I'm gonna go back here, take that off. Let's see. I don't have any. Yeah. I'm gonna guess that Williams are in the clear right now, just because it's less than an hour until the sprint starts, and that's where we're at. Williams, no penalty, position drop. Oh, where's that coming in? Where did you see that, Colin? That would be helpful. Not sure what moves to make. Thoughts? Piastri times 2, Hülkenberg, Ocon, Hadjar, Bortoleto, Ferrari, Mercedes. So you've got Hülkenberg, you've got Hadjar. So MotoG, you're kind of going from a position of strength there, which I don't hate at all, but you do have 2 falling assets in Hadjar and Bortoleto, and I'd like to get rid of them, but having Piastri is nice. Ferrari looked pretty good this weekend, or on Friday so far. Depending on how much you have in the budget, I would maybe downgrade. Can you downgrade Piastri to Antonelli and then upgrade Hadjar to Lance Stroll? That might be enough there. Mac is back. Wow, you were up for the Friday evening Q&A stream, Mac, and you are back for the deadline stream. I appreciate that. A potential T1 I am considering is Piastri, Antonelli, Hülkenberg, Ocon, Hadjar, with McLaren and Aston Martin. I like it. You got 6 out of 7 risers there. You've got the budget building king and Antonelli right there, and Hülkenberg should be fine with a pit start. And then McLaren and Aston Martin, yeah, go for it, Mac. I like it. Henry says, Doohan, Hadjar, and Mercedes to Hülkenberg, Albon, Williams, or Piastri, Doohan, Hadjar to Antonelli, Stroll, Hülkenberg. I think I kind of like the second option there, Henry, with Antonelli, Stroll, and Hülkenberg. So I think that's where I'd maybe go. Yeah, I like that a little bit more. All right, guys, I'm just going to keep refreshing Twitter and stuff like that. But if you could do me a favor while you're here, just give the stream a little bit of a like or a heart wherever you're watching in the world, or what's platform you're watching on. Just going to go over my T2 and my T3 teams. So on my T2 team today, I've taken a -10, and I've left Hadjar in there. So now my lineup is Piastri, Antonelli, Hadjar, Ocon, Behrman with McLaren and Aston Martin in this lineup. This team was the one I went a little bit crazy on last week. I think I had Piastri, Leclerc, Russell, Bortoleto, Hadjar, Haas, and Aston Martin. So I've swapped in McLaren, Antonelli, Ocon, and Behrman. No, I've taken in McLaren, Antonelli, and Ocon, and that's it. That's a -10. And this is supposed to be a pretty nice build for what I could do here with a -10. It's got a little bit of budget, a little bit of points, so kind of just playing the field a little bit there with that team. And then on my T3 squad, I am rocking and rolling with the wild card here. Piastri, Albon, Stroll, Ocon, Hulkenberg with McLaren and Haas. And then my T1 team by the end of the hour is probably going to be a little bit of an alteration to this. And it's going to be Antonelli instead of Piastri, and then Williams instead of Haas. But it'll probably look a lot like this T3 team, but Antonelli instead of Piastri and Haas, or Williams instead of Haas. Colin says, I will go with Piastri, Albon, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Behrman with McLaren and Williams. No chips. I'm pretty much going to almost be on that exact team, Colin, but I'm going to have to use a wild card. It is a -20, and it is tempting because I was telling a lot of people, as long as this is like the only -20 you're taking in the first half of the season, it might be worth it. And then you're saving the wild card, but 20 points is a lot. Nathan says, what's your final team? I think I just went over that, Nathan, but if you weren't here, it's pretty much this T3 team, but it's going to be Antonelli instead of Piastri and Williams instead of Haas. So I'll have double Williams, Antonelli with McLaren, Stroll, Ocon, and Hulkenberg. Henry says, thanks, man. What's your final team, bro? Yep. What are you doing with your T1 squad? I have the same squad as you. I'm going to go Antonelli, Albon, Stroll, Ocon, Hulkenberg, McLaren, and Haas, as long as we don't get any, like, random news. Oh, here we go. Let's go check this out. We have an official statement from the Williams team, everybody. Let me get this out of here real quick. We had concerns over the cameras not working at FP1, and as a result, we were in dialogue with the FIA throughout the session. Following the session, the FIA and ourselves have reviewed all procedures, and we can confirm that the failure to provide foods in laws was down to miscommunication internal processes. Will be addressed as a result, so it does not reoccur. For completeness, we provided all footage as requested in Melbourne with no issue, and we have no concerns. It is the same wing we ran in Melbourne. It's fully compliant. And we thank them for their constructive conversations. So sounds like Williams are good to go. So yeah, I think we're in the clear here. Looks like Williams is in the... Oh. So I think they are good. Albert Fabrega. Williams fined for not having FIA wing image. Here's the grid. So here's the official grid. So Albon still starts in 9th. Sainz still starts in 13th. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go, everybody. The Williams problem is now solved. So we can go back to our F1 fantasy lineups now. All right, Max says, I forgot to mention I was thinking of using the 3x on Piastri and 2x on Antonelli on the team I said. I know it's usually better to wait, but it's tempting. I agree, Mac. It is tempting. I think there's probably going to be better opportunities to play that chip later on in the season. So if you could hold off, I would. But if you're doing it for kicks, if you're just trying to get some mucho points this week, go for it. Just, yeah, just go for it. But I think I would probably wait. Like Sammy Valencia says, you better wait. Luca says, what are your thoughts on Piastri, Hulkenberg, Behrman, Stroll, Ocon, Ferrari, and Williams? 3 transfers for -10, or should I use a wild card for that? If it's just a -10, Luca, just take the -10 hit, save the wild card. I'm only thinking about using the wild card because my transfers are going to be a -20. Luckily, no negative points for me. I just need to switch Alonso and Hadjar to Behrman and Ocon. I like that. Should I wildcard my team, says MotoG. Verstappen, Bortoleto, Hulkenberg, Doohan, Lawson, Red Bull Racing, Aston Martin. Yes, that is probably a wildcard team there because Lawson's going to fall 0.3, Bortoleto's going to fall, or Lawson's going to fall 0.6, Bortoleto's going to fall 0.6, Doohan's going to fall 0.6, and you're going to need Verstappen or Red Bull to fund those moves. So that is probably a wild card there, MotoG. Final teams, Williams or Haas. In my T1 team, I'm going Haas. In my T3 team, in my T1 team, I'm going Williams. T3 team, I'm going Haas. Will you use wildcard? That is the final decision. I pretty much have my team locked in, Jackson. It's just for a -20. And it just really depends on, you have to kind of like trust yourself to not take multiple -20s. So I could use the wild card this week and then end up taking another -20. But then it's kind of like, if I take a -20 this week, right, and then everything goes wrong, and then next week I'm like, well, I just took a -20, so I guess that's my risk appetite. So I'll take another -20. Like, that's not useful. So maybe if I use the wild card, it at least saves me 20 points at some point this season, and then I just have to plan. The plan would be to roll in Japan and then have 3 free transfers ready for Bahrain. That way, if I do need to like wild card, quote unquote, I have 3 free transfers plus a 4th one for a 10-point hit, and that's pretty much the same thing here. So that would be the plan, is to roll in Japan if I can. Christian says, would Piastri 2 times, Ocon, Behrman, Hulkenberg, Stroll, McLaren be good for budget and points, or should I put in Haas so I can fit in Albon? Piastri is probably going to outscore that lineup with if you take Williams out for Haas. So I would probably just keep that Piastri lineup in there. Saskia says 129 points and 98.8 cap. Team 1, Antonelli, Ocon. Is Piastri points upgrade worth the 1 million budget? Short term, yes. Long term, no, Saskia. So, yeah, that's where I would be at. Juan says, what would be your Limitless team? Norris, Piastri, Leclerc, Hamilton, Verstappen, with McLaren, and probably Ferrari. They got the race pace yesterday, didn't look great. But I think if I was going to use Limitless at this point, I would just take the 2 kind of preseason favorites, because Ferrari looked pretty good in practice yesterday, and then it translated to pole pretty well yesterday. Like, Hamilton looked on it. Leclerc looked okay in practice as well, just a little bit of a weird SQ3 for him. So I think I would just go with the favorites. 3 triple McLaren, triple Ferrari, and Max would be my Limitless squad there. Verstappen, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Hadjar, Bortoleto, McLaren, Williams. What to change? I would change Hadjar and Bortoleto, and I guess I would fund that with Verstappen. So Verstappen down to, maybe Verstappen down to Piastri, and then Hadjar or Bortoleto up to Stroll would be a -2, which is not that bad at all. So yeah, that's maybe where I would go. Tic Tac FM. Best wildcard picks when last week was a complete blowout. All of the drivers that are rose last week, BO, are probably going to be the best drivers for this week as well. So if you go over here to the F1 Fantasy Tools budget builder tool, which if you want to sign up for their premium product, you can use, oh, look at that. I forgot to take off your comment, but you can use promo code UN50 for 1 month off your first month with F1 Fantasy Tools. So it's like a bad cup of coffee. Yeah, promo code UN50. So that'll be nice if you want to use that. But all these drivers here, like Hulkenberg, 83%, 85%, 83%, 80% for Antonelli. These are all the drivers you really want to focus on quite a bit. And then up here in the premium as well, a lot of them are expected to go up quite a bit as well. Ooh. Whoa. Sorry. Oh, we have new simulations from Mr. Reuter in the F1 Fantasy Tools as of 1 minute ago. So if you guys don't mind, nah, it's fine. People will figure it out. So we can go over to these new, okay, we're on version 2. So let's see if it changes anything in the wildcard department for me. I doubt it will. So as you can see here, if I want to gain more budget, so Reuter has kind of taken down the odds of the budget building, but overall, it's not too bad. If I fit in Haas instead of Williams, I can bring in Piastri instead of Antonelli, but I'm still really hoping for that 0.6 price rise with Antonelli, so that's why I'm kind of going with him there. All right, back to the questions here. Let me see, where am I? Okay. Ferrari or Mercedes for my T2? Ferrari. What happened to Williams' potential penalty? Is McLaren Williams still on? Yes, it is still on. Williams did not get a penalty. They got a fine, so they are going to be okay. So Albon's still a good asset. Williams is still a good asset. I would probably avoid Sainz. Feels less likely now that he is going to go up in price. If he had started 20th, then he maybe would have had a shout to get to where he needed to go. But yeah, I think for now, Albon and Williams is still on. McLaren, Williams, Piastri, Hulkenberg, Stroll, Tsunoda, Ocon for wild card. Yeah, I don't mind it. Tsunoda has a chance of going up, so not bad at all. Triple Haas is too dangerous. Yes, double Haas is probably too dangerous for me. And Hulkenberg, Ocon, Albon, Stroll. That is the perfect templatey wildcard lineup, and that is probably what I will be going up with. Or should I go Piastri, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Tsunoda, Behrman? I guess if you don't want to go as high up in the budget with Antonelli, you can go with Piastri, because that's probably a good balance of points and budget. What do you think of Ferrari, Mercedes build with Antonelli, Behrman, Hulkenberg, Stroll, and Ocon? I like that, Ivan. I like that quite a bit. Behrman, Stroll. Yeah, you got to hope that the Haas guys do okay, but overall, it's not bad at all. I've used my wild card this week. Gone with Piastri, Stroll, Ocon, Hulkenberg, Behrman, McLaren, Williams. Trying to regain some lost budget from last week as try to score some decent points. I like it. If you got the budget right there, totally fine. I think I'm going to end up on a little bit of an alteration with that. I'll probably end up with Antonelli and who am I going to have instead of Behrman? Albon with McLaren and Williams. Williams are all good. Antonelli was considered, but put him at my other two teams for this week. Yep. Ham versus Piastri for main driver. I know it's really tough to see Hamilton on pole and not have him as your 2X driver. If you have both of them in your lineup, might be a good weekend to use the autopilot. I don't know. That's not the worst idea in the world if you've got both of them in your team. But I think over the weekend, Piastri will outscore Hamilton. Alligator, what is up? You're always in the chat. Love it. McLaren, Williams, Piastri, Hulkenberg, Stroll, Sainz, Bortoleto. Would you swap in Tsunoda, Ocon for Sainz / Bortoleto, or swap in Gasly Behrman for Sainz Bortoleto, hold on to Bortoleto, and swap Albon for Sainz. Alligator, I think I'd probably rank them 1, 3, 2. I think that would be my ranking for your options there. Leica, when are you going to make your transfers for your T1 team? Probably in the next 10, 15 minutes. Austin, I see you shouting, please help. I will be right there. Callum, missed race 1 deadline. In your opinion, what is the ideal team if starting this week? That's a great question, Callum. Shall we just build that for you? Let's go. Manual. No, don't want that. I don't want that. Okay, maximum budget 100 million. No wild card. Let's see, Callum. Looks like this is your Bortoleto. Not a huge fan of Racing Bulls or Bortoleto, to be honest. Cameron, rate my team: Piastri, Hülkenberg, Albon, Ocon, Sainz, Mercedes, and Williams. I think I'd give that a B- because Mercedes and Sainz are probably the weaker assets in that team, just like from a budget building and a point scoring view, Cameron. But overall, I don't really mind it at all. -10 to change Hadjar to Behrman, worth it. Probably not in the points department, Tic Tac FM, but in the budget building department, yes, because I think Hadjar is going to fall 0.6 and Behrman has a pretty good chance. Report otherwise. What time at your place? Is it super early? It is 3:27 in the morning, so yes. Although I was up this time last week doing the deadline, or I was getting ready for the deadline live stream for Australia, which was just qualifying. Austin says, should I use wildcard to get Norris or stick with Piastri and only take a -10 to upgrade my team to Ocon, Behrman, Hulk with McLaren and Williams? I think you should just take the -10, Austin. Please help. Hopefully I did. Christian, is Piastri plus Williams or Norris plus Haas better to gain budget and not risk losing points from DNFs? Just because we don't know enough about that Haas, I think I would say Piastri and Williams is the better option there, Christian. I feel like Williams are a little bit more confident in their car. Sainz has been a little bit sketchy. Not as strong of a start as I was hoping for the Spanish driver, but that's where I'm at there. Alligator says, thank you. Thinking of going with option 1. El Pepe, wouldn't it be smarter to focus on points during a sprint race weekend? In a vacuum, yes. But I cannot afford to keep losing budget. Because I keep losing budget, there's no way I'm going to be able to afford any of these drivers. And I'm going to be locked in to this budget-losing, low point scoring team. So I'm trying to get back on the budget, taking another hit in the points department, and moving back up in budget, and eventually being able to get onto Piastri. I'll have gained some budget, like, you know, we're one Piastri DNF away from the template totally changing. So we'll see what happens this weekend, El Pepe. Albon or Antonelli for 2x? Antonelli. Thank you, Austin. Thoughts on Mercedes, Williams plus Piastri, Albon, Gasly, Stroll, Hülkenberg on wildcard? Not sure whether McLaren, Kimi, or Mercedes, Piastri. I think I would go with McLaren and Kimi there, Louis. So that's where I would go with that, because you're getting the constructor, so you're technically getting like Piastri and Norris for about 7 million more than Piastri, and you're getting Kimi there, who's going to get you some budget as well. Tsunoda or Behrman? I think I'm going Behrman just because he has to score less points than Tsunoda. You should use your wild card, man. Now is the time. Just one sprint, and then you can switch for the race if you want. Yeah, that's a good point. BO, current team, Antonelli, Albon, Hulkenberg, Behrman, Stroll, McLaren, Williams. Hold on, I was about to sneeze, and then I thought about sneezing, and then I didn't sneeze. What is that called? I feel like there's a scientific term for that. My team in China is McLaren, Williams, Piastri, Ocon, Behrman, Hulkenberg. My focus is budget. I love it, AB Mose. Yes, that is pretty much where I am going as well, but I've got Antonelli and Stroll instead of Piastri and Behrman. But I like your setup a little bit better. I just don't have the budget for that, unfortunately. Should I swap McLaren for Ferrari and Behrman for Ocon? No, I would not do that. I traded Stroll, Hadjar for Hulkenberg and Behrman. Huh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, you got rid of Stroll, but Hulkenberg and Behrman should make that up. They'll probably get you, like 0.8 in budget, whereas Stroll and Hadjar would cancel you out. I think I am all caught up in the questions. So that's a good start. There are like 65 of y'all watching, which is fantastic. And there's like 17 likes. So if you guys could just do me a favor, hit that like button, would greatly appreciate that. 28 minutes to go in the deadline live stream. You guys would be doing me a tremendous favor by just hitting that thumbs up button. And if you haven't already, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. 2,215 followers. Madness, but I love y'all. So thank you for that. Yes, there goes the like button. Appreciate it. What next? I guess I should put my team together, huh? The only problem is when I have my F1 thing kind of minimized like this, I can't get to the other side of the page. So I'm going to have to do it on my phone, but that's okay. It'll look nice and pretty here, and then I'll update it, and it should be good to go. Let's see if we've got anything going on in the F1 world. Coffee Corner Motorsport, Terry over there. Piastri, Stroll, Ocon, Behrman, Gasly with McLaren and Williams. Zach is locked in with Norris, Bortoleto, Behrman, Stroll, Hulkenberg, McLaren, and Williams. Rob is live. I guess I could retweet my tweet, huh? There we go. Boom. And yeah, I guess it's time to build that lineup. Let's get it going. If you have any other questions, guys, let's fill it up and we will go. Oh, God. Yeah, okay. Ask and you shall receive, I guess. Look at that. Boom. We are good to go here. Is expected points 129 worth 0? Yeah, I don't mind that, Medi. I'm hoping I lost budget last week, so I'm hoping to get more of a budget increase. But if you're okay with where you're at, I think that's probably going to be okay. Peter says, I think most people who have used wildcards are all going to be running very similar teams. Yeah, that's because we're all trying to gain budget, Peter. 30 million for one constructor and 2 drivers. Any thoughts? Thanks for the help. 30 million for one constructor. Williams, Albon, Behrman? That should get you in the 30 million range, Louis. Clement says, my team is Mercedes, Ferrari, Piastri, Ocon, Hadjar, Behrman, Bortoleto. Should I use Wildcard and use McLaren, Williams, Piastri, Sainz, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Hadjar? I would try to get out Hadjar and Bortoleto here, Clement. But you might need to sacrifice something. You can maybe get away with a -10 there. So take a look if you can get away with a -10. You might have to sacrifice Mercedes or Ferrari to fix those bottom guys. But let me know. Oh, thank you, Austin. Appreciate that. Yeah, Williams got a fine, but they're not going to get a budget. At which point do we usually stop looking at budget building and start looking for points? It's a great question. It might be when Liam Lawson becomes a tier A asset if he ever gets his ish together and learns how to drive that Red Bull. I know it's a very hard car to drive, but Liam Lawson could be a phenomenal budget building talent in F1 Fantasy if he can figure out how to drive that Red Bull and stop going out in Q1 all the time, because he is 17.4. He's probably going to go down to 16.8. People are going to start to be able to afford him. Like if Alex Albon goes up another 0.6 and Liam Lawson falls another 0.6 over the next 2 weekends, that'll put Albon at 13.9 and Lawson at like 15.8. So yeah, that'll be very interesting as I try to play with. Oh no, okay. I was gonna start trying to throw the little cat toy around for my cat so my wife can continue to sleep, but he found my hoodie and now he's just gonna sit on there. I'm just not confident on Piastri. I don't know. I feel pretty good about Oscar. I don't really have any qualms for him. Mac, is it worth trying to fit Ferrari? And my T2 team at the moment is Piastri, Antonelli, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Ferrari, Aston. I think I still prefer McLaren in my previous team, but I'm scared of a sudden Ferrari dog. I wouldn't be too scared. Mac, let's check it out here. Look at this. Race simulation pace, McLaren are still 0.3 ahead of Ferrari. So while Ferrari can still be like 1 lap specialists and like Leclerc and Hamilton could maybe lock out the front row, I think over the course of 58 laps or whatever we've got tomorrow in the Grand Prix, there's my cat, just hissing at the cat toy. I think I would back McLaren as long as Lando can stop making these kind of silly mental errors. And I don't think Oscar has that in his game. Like he had one thing that like drastically caught him out last weekend, but overall, I wouldn't be too bad. Sammy, cars going to the grid. Let's see. Moto G, trying to build wildcard team. What team would you suggest? Piastri, Hulkenberg, Stroll, Ocon, Albon, McLaren, Haas, or Norris, Hulkenberg, Stroll, Behrman, Ocon, McLaren, Haas? Give me the Albon team there, Moto G. Guys, is it worth a -10 to go from Ferrari, Mercedes, to McLaren, Williams, Piastri, Ocon, Doohan, Stroll, Bortoletto? I was hoping you'd be able to upgrade your team a little bit better than that for a -10. Behrman now at 0.9 expected points. Great catch by Jeff C. Let's go check out these things again because we did get new projections, huh? Am I using the right? Yeah, okay. I got the latest projections here. So Antonelli, 14.2. So they don't love him as much. I think Ryder said in his explanation that he took into account the new odds for betting on a DNF. There were 3 DNFs in China last year. There's plenty of runoff, and some of it is gravel and stuff. So unless it's like a collision and someone goes backwards into the gravel and kind of gets beached, I think we're going to be okay. I'm just realizing that I'm literally the epitome of my shirt right now, which is Fantasy League Manager. I'm literally bent over wearing a cap on my laptop. So that is fantastic there. Colin says, what do you think about Piastri, Antonelli, Ocon, Hulkenberg, Behrman with Ferrari and Aston? I think that looks good. People, let's lock in our teams. Looking forward to your setup, Ewan. Disagree about Liam. He's overpriced to start and probably won't last long enough to increase. Interesting, Brooke. This may be more of like a philosophical discussion about Red Bull in general. Maybe another podcast or something. Podcast YouTube episode. So I think he's going to get a fair shake, but yeah, things have got to start improving soon, especially if Yuki keeps out qualifying him. Robert says 181 points. Norris, Bortoletto or Doohan? B, would you change 2 drivers or go limitless? I think I would change 2 drivers there, Robert. Throw the whole driver away. When you upload your team, bro. I just like to keep it late. I just, gotta, yeah. Let's, Williams. I just got home. What happened with Williams? They will get a fine. They will not. Rockets won last night, guys. So, Houston Rockets fan here. All is good. All right, let me get this team sorted. So, whoa, Robert, thank you for the super chat. Bada bing, bada boom. That is very, very appreciated. Norris, Hulkenberg, Doohan, Hadjar, Behrman with Williams and McLaren. Would you remove 2 drivers or use Limitless? Thank you. I would go... I don't know how much budget you have remaining, but if you can go from... I know this sucks, Robert, but I would maybe go from Norris down to Piastri, and then you could fix Hadjar and Behrman with... You would save about 8 million there, and then you could go Behrman to Stroll... and then maybe Hadjar to Behrman or maybe Sonoda. So you'd maybe have enough for that. But yes, 99.2. But hopefully that helps. Thank you for the super chat. Very much appreciated. Sammy says, what team is better? Norris, Hulkenberg, Stroll, Behrman, Ocon, Albon, or Ocon or Albon, Kimi, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Ocon for a guy who has 98.6 budget. I kind of like the Albon, Kimi lineup there, Sammy. Who should be in the DRS boost for the Limitless team? I'm still going Lando. I still think McLaren will probably prioritize him and go with that. Austin says, which do you like better? Looking for my second team, Ferrari or Mercedes with cheaper paired constructor? I like Ferrari this weekend over Mercedes. Austin, what's your last choice for your team 1? What team is better? I think it's the Albon Kimi. McLaren and Racing Bulls with Antonelli, Russell, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Behrman. Maybe move Russell down here, guys. Russell down to Sainz and V-Carb up to Williams. Go with the double Williams. Okay. I'm just going to take a timeout here, guys. Well, I'll still be on the stream, but just going to set my lineup here. Bada bing, bada boom. Team. I'm just looking at the team that I picked last week, and it makes me sick. Yeah, hate it. All right, Albon, Stroll, Nico. Where are we at with Ocon versus Behrman? So Ocon's starting at the back there. So I'm going to give Antonelli the 2x, and then we're going to hit continue. I'm going to apply my wildcard. 4 changes. Alrighty, guys. I think I can... Oh. Well, that's not good. We ran into a technical issue. A fix is being worked on. Well, don't do that to me, because I would very much like to fix my F1 fantasy team. We're going to go a little bit bigger here, guys. I guess I'm just going to have to do this on the main page here. But we can build this team together. Let's see here. Let me see. You guys can see that, so that's good. We're going to get rid of Piastri, Bortoleto, Hadjar, and Sainz. We're going to bring in Mr. Antonelli. We're actually going to give him the DRS boost. And then we're going to bring in Alex, Lance. I can't believe I'm bringing in Lance Stroll on an F1 fantasy team race. Got 0.2 left in the bank. I think Ocon's going to do better in F1 fantasy than his teammate Ollie Behrman right now. And we're going to... Yes, that's fine. Confirm changes. Bada bing, bada boom. That's it. Presto, bingo, bango. The team is done. Hopefully that. So if anyone has any questions, that is my T1 team. for F1 Fantasy. If you guys don't mind, real quick, I'm just going to give this the good old Twitter heave-ho. I'll get that off your screen so you don't have to see that. But yeah, that is my T1. Oh, that's not my T1 team. That is there we go. That's where I ended up at. Took a negative 20, but activated the wild card to save my chips. And I have Antonelli in my lineup there. Alrighty. Man, I was tweeting a lot about F1 Fantasy this week, so it's quite difficult. Could you go over the points per million change for the constructors teams? Yes, I can. I can do that. We can go over here to the budget builder, Bitman. And as you can see here, so for the constructors, here are the odds that each team is going to go up. So as you can see here, round 1 column, it should, it gets highlighted there. That's how many points each constructor scored last week in Australia. This is how many points they're are being expected to score in China. And then this gives them the odds of what they're supposed to rise this week. So as you can see, McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, all 99%. In the likely to increase department, Williams are at 82%, Haas 79%, Aston 73%. So, and then minimal over there. Behrman, I just saw someone ask a question. Christian asked if Behrman is going to increase. So his odds have gone down a little bit, 42% to go up 0.6 million and 32% to go down 0.6 million. So where are we at? If anyone is new to the channel, 1 hour after the Grand Prix tomorrow in China, I will be live doing what I call like a F1 Fantasy cool down room. So that is what I will be up to there. So if you want to come and debrief about the Chinese Grand Prix, be my guest. Welcome aboard. And I will be here kind of getting it all out of my system, because last week I had a little bit of a rant last week because everything went so poorly. Teams locked for the Chinese Grand Prix. Pivoting to budget building. Oh my goodness, it's so, my brain is not working. Budgeting, building lineup. I activated my wild card, and then you gotta find the chip emoji. Although if you type in chip on X, it doesn't come up with fries, which I think is very anti-British, and I don't appreciate it because I am I'm 100% Scottish. I just don't sound it. So moved over to Ameriski when I was like 11 and lost my accent totally. Okay, the lineup is locked. Pivoting the budget building. I had my wildcard good. I received all on the other side. Boom, that has been sent. And now it is time to answer everybody else's fantastic questions. As I make sure. There we go. All right, I've got the cat toy in one hand. We've got 10 minutes to the lineup. Let's do this, everybody. Piastri, Albon, Stroll, Hülkenberg, Bortoleto, McLaren, Williams. Any thoughts on what I should do? One transfer left. Can you get rid of Bortoleto to someone? Even if it's like a Behrman, just take a better chance. As you can see here on the screen, Bortoleto's got a 99% chance of a drop. Behrman, 32% chance. So maybe you can increase your odds of catching a nice little price rise there. PXL Pusher 72 says Piastri, 2x, Albon, Stroll, Ocon, Hülkenberg, McLaren, and Aston. I put Aston in one of my lineups. I think that was my T2 squad. We can go check it out over here Yeah, so I'm in favor of Aston, so I don't mind them at all. This team is a little bit weird, so I wouldn't maybe follow this, but I took a -10 to get there, so that's where we're at. Yeah, just a little bit of a weird team that I've got going on there. Let's move on to Hater. Should I switch from a Mercedes, Ferrari, Piastri, Ocon, Hulkenberg, Duhan, Hadjar to a Mercedes, Williams, Piastri, Albon, Hulkenberg, and take a -20? If you want to save your wild card and you want to take a -20 and it's just like the one time of the season that you're taking a -20, Hater, I don't mind it. So go for it. Yuki or Behrman if I'm also bringing in Ocon. Double Haas. Ooh. I think I'd go Yuki at this point. I've kind of... Leica, would you recommend changing Stroll to Alonso? I would not. I would keep Stroll. He's supposed to go up. Is Behrman still good to increase budget or nah? Glenn Grant, hey, you in 2:46 a.m. here in Edinburgh. I'm so tired. Yes, I'm right there with you, Glenn. It's a little bit... I can't tell if like 2:45 a.m. is better because like you're gonna go to sleep after the sprint and you'll be able to maybe get like 5 or 6 hours before like waking up at 9 or 10. Although I guess I'm chugging coffee, so I will probably be up for the sprint race anyway. Formula Fantasy Hub just wrapped up my stream. Glad to see so many coming over to join yours, mate. Hope it has been a good stream so far. Yeah, it has been, Rob. Thank you for... If you sent them my way, I hope I haven't disappointed your leftovers too badly. I hope I'm doing you justice because you are crushing it. The strategist from you may know him as the strategist from F1.com, people, but to me, he is good friend Rob. So Christian says, I'm using the wild card. Sammy says, aren't you worried not to have Norris in the later races? Seem too good to give up. Later races, Schmader races, that's future Ewan's problem. Current Ewan's problem is that he has no monies to buy good drivers. So I got to fix that right now. Hector says, what would you prefer? Albon, Stroll, Ocon, Hulkenberg, Behrman, McLaren, Mercedes, or Albon, Antonelli? I would prefer the second option there, Hector. Haas, Williams, Norris, Antonelli, Albon, Hulkenberg, and Stroll. I did look at that lineup earlier this week. I kind of like it. Hater says, thanks for the advice. James, plus 2.32, 216 points. McLaren, Williams, Piastri, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Ocon, Stroll. I like it, James. Yeah, 0.4 million is worth the 50 points that you're going to gain there. Sammy says, W. So, yeah, we got the W, guys. 7 minutes to go. This is a little bit less stressful than it was last time. I'm not sure why I keep taking my hat off and combing my hair back. I'm assuming that's some sort of lack of sleep-induced nervous tic or something. So, you know, that's great there. So, but yeah, I'm all caught up on questions. So that's nice. Or for now, if you have any more questions, hit me up. I'm still good to go. Just going to refresh the page, make sure I'm doing the thing like when you go to the airport and you're like, well, I'm here early, but I've also got to make sure that my gate is there. And that's what I just did. Even though I know that the team is locked in, I refreshed the page. I had to check that my gate was there, aka that my F1 fantasy team is there. And it is. The gate is there, guys. So we can get on the plane. We can join the pain train that is probably coming my way. Looking at the viewers, I see a couple people are leaving in the chat. And if you are going to go for it. Go get set up for the sprint race and stuff. But as you do on your way out, if you could just click that like button, I would greatly appreciate it. It would really, really help me out. Leica says, Antonelli, don't disappoint me, please. Yes, and I hope I haven't disappointed you with the pronunciation of your name. So let me know if I am butchering that, and I will fix that for next time, because hopefully you are going to join me tomorrow for the cool down room stream, or next week, or not next week, 2 weeks time for the Japanese Grand Prix deadline stream. Akira says, Piastri, Hulkenberg, Albon, Stroll, Ocon, McLaren, Haas. Is this good? That is good, Akira. You've got a very similar lineup to me, but you're just going with Haas instead of Williams. Haha, I always check to make sure the gate is real. Yes, I can't help it. It's like, I know it's there. Like, the gate's not going to disappear, but, like, what if it did? Then I'd feel really stupid. Leica said, nope, you said it right. Yes. As someone that has a name spelled Euan, pronouncing people's names correctly is something that I strive for because it has not been a kind first part of my life there. Glenn says liked, so y'all should follow Glenn. Akira says thank you. Thanks for the great tips. Thank you. I did the double Haas for drivers and now I'm regretting. LOL. Hey, you know what? It's okay. We're going to get through this. Maybe they pull out a miracle. I think Haas might have a couple of more tough weeks before they can get some new upgrades on that car, but we'll see how it goes. Stroll or Alonso was a good question, forgetting last week they're close in time. True, but Stroll is likely to rise 0.6 million, and at this point in the season, which is super early, I prefer the budget. I'm assuming that's going to be like Racing Bulls or Haas. I would go Haas. I didn't know that once you use the chip that you're locked in. Oops, Behrman is 72% to get a price jump. I call BS on that. Yeah, especially with him falling, or probably falling down the grid a little bit in the sprint. But I mean, he's now at Glenn. That's like when you say something at the football, like you're watching, like, I don't know, Liverpool versus Chelsea, and you're like, Salah's gonna cut in more and be more aggressive, and then like the commentator says it 5 seconds later, and you're like, am I a genius? So yes, great minds think alike. Moto G says, trying to avoid double Haas, but we'll have Williams and McLaren, or worth going to lower constructor and get a different driver. No, I think you're fine with McLaren and Williams there. Austin says, yeah, that does sound a little bit too much for Behrman. Yeah, so on the budget building tool over here, his odds have gone down. So he's got a 32% chance now of going down 0.6 million. It's got a 40% chance of going down and a 60% chance of going up. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Ocon's got an 82% chance of rising, so that's nice. Just go make sure that the gate is still there. Okay, the gate is still there. That's good. I'm interested to see like what comes out on top amongst these teams. Like the T1 and T2 and T3 have Piastri, so they will probably come out on top in the points department. But in budget building land, that is kind of where it's at. Like I've got the Behrman experience here. I had to keep Hadjar over here too. Knight Rider 673 says, is Piastri signed Tsunoda, Hadjar, Bordelon, and McLaren a good setup? Already made 2 transfers. You're going to take some lumps with that team, Knight Rider, but we are also 1 minute away from the deadline. So if that is the team that you came to transfer in, we can start to get you back up to speed for the Japanese Grand Prix, because there's not enough time to fix your lineup right now. But Piastri is good, McLaren is good, Williams is good. Hadjar and Bortoleto are both good too. So yeah, that's where we're at. Moda says, thanks for all the advice. Locked in. Good luck, everyone. Ouch, Hadjar. Yeah, I know. But I had to do it. Glenn. I had to keep 1 wild card in my back pocket just in case. I've already used 2 of my 3 wild cards in my 3 teams. But we are 20 seconds away, people. And then I am going to get out of here. I'm going to go attempt to slip back into bed, watch the sprint on my phone with my headphones in, and then wake up like 3 hours later for qualifying. And then but I will be tweeting away throughout the pain, and that's supposed to say let's race, but it always goes bigger. But we are locked in, everybody. That is it. I'm just gonna wait for this to kind of happen, And yeah, that is it. Thank you for joining the stream at silly o'clock in the morning. It's been fantastic. Couple of 6 hours of content, I think we've been doing. So thank you if you joined me for both streams. And yeah, I will be back tomorrow for all of the post-race madness that we go through in F1 Fantasy. Hopefully it is a little bit better in the points and the budget department. But if I don't see you then, I'll be back later this week with a budget building guide because the pricing algorithm will be sorted and I'm trying to set up something else. So hopefully 2 episodes next week, but I will let you guys know. Good luck, you, and thank you. You guys are welcome. Thank you for joining me. Really appreciate it. Yeah, Williams has got a fine, so we're gonna see what happens there. But good luck, everyone, this week. We are locked in. Yeah. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and yeah, I will talk to you guys next time.